Hey guys, it's Mr. Mini Painter back again with yet another paint tutorial, and today we're going to be painting Alastor Moody, Mad-Eye Moody from the Harry Potter Wizarding Duels game. And in the end you should have something looking like this. I think he looks pretty nice. I really love this character with his weird eye, and yeah, I was excited to paint him. They're very small. I love these models by Night Models. I've painted a lot of them by now, and there are more coming. So yeah, well, let's start painting this one. I spray painted it with a light gray, and in the end I maybe should have done black, but well, this seemed to work. So what I did here is use XV88 as a base coat for the coat. A coat for a coat, and yeah, well, it's the largest area of this model. So I used a fairly big brush, and make sure to get a nice solid cover. If not, go over it twice. It's quite a big coat, and we're going to be darkening it down further on in the video. There's some parts on the inside and between his legs, the back of the coat, so take your time and get a smooth cover. Now when this is done, we are going to be using Doomble Brown and some Abaddon Black for the inner coat. I wanted to have the Doomble Brown as its main color, so starting off we're going to darken it down a little bit so that we can highlight it later on and reach that Doomble Brown cover in the end. So make sure to touch everything there. There's some clasps, some buckles, etc. Now for the pants, I used Storm Vermin Fur, and I darkened that with Abaddon Black as well, because later on we're going to be highlighting it with pure Storm Vermin Fur. Make sure not to touch the coat on the inside of the legs, which can be quite difficult with models like these because the coat is hanging over his clothes, so you have to wiggle your brush in the right angle to be able to touch everything. I also touched the small piece of cloth here in between with this same dark base coat, like a shirt. I used Black Legion as a base coat for the staff. Next, I took some dried bark and painted his shoes. I used some Rhinox hide as a base color for the wand. I really like the wand on this mini, but we're getting to that later. For now, we're going to continue on the coat using XV88, Caliban Green, and a little bit of Abaddon Black. You can try and mix this in a ratio that suits you. I wanted to have a bit of a filthy green color in the shadowy part. So as you can see here, I'm adding some darkened areas in the recesses of the coat, also on the arms, well, basically all the recesses in the coat, to create some pre-shading effect. We're going to be shading it later on, but now you get some color differentiations because it's such a big area to cover you want it to be. You want it to look nice, right? Now as a first shade, I'm going to use Skeleton Horde contrast paint in a thinned down version to cover the entire coat, once dried of course. You see it darkening down just a little bit. We're going to take it a step further later on. For the staff, I used a dry brush and Steel Legion drab. We pre-painted it with the Black Legion before, so you leave those dark recessed areas as they are, and the Steel Legion drab creates a nice wood grain, a wooden effect on the staff. Make sure to go very, very lightly on this because you don't want to cover it with pure paint, just a hint of brown. Next, I took it a little bit further and used some Karak stone and repeated the process. And you can do this as many times as you want. You don't want a too bright staff, just some small highlights. Now to continue on the vest, I took Doomble Brown again and painted all the raised areas, so the straps, all the clasps, the buckles, the edges of his collar. Just painted those with the Doomble Brown to create a nice red effect. And I also took some of the raised areas of the coat. Now with lead belchers, I painted all the clasps. There is a zipper in the middle of his coat. I painted that as well. And some of the buckles on his chest, they're very tiny, as you can see here. The zipper in the middle, it's over here, and those tiny, tiny clasps. Take your time, and the end result is very, very nice. It's those small details that give so much pleasure when reaching it. Now after that, I used some Garakak Sewer contrast paint on the entirety of the coat. And I used it in a pure form, and in retrospect I think I should have diluted it at least a little bit. I fixed it in the end, but I think it's too dark as it was, but well, there's no going back when you start it, so I covered the entire coat with that, and after that I took some Nuln Oil on the pants and create some shading in those dark areas over there. And to finish off, I used some Agrax Earth Shade on the boots. I let that all dry, and when it's done, we're going to continue with some Agrax Earth Shade on the staff to blend those browns all together. And the staff, it should be a little bit dark. At least the original one is, and I want it to look as close as possible to the original staff used in the movies. Now what I did here is I took some Abaddon Black, I really love this part, and I stippled some details on the wand. And I'll be showing you a picture of the original wand used in the movie. You see this has white lines on it as well, and a scorched kind of look, so that was the look I was achieving. I only ended up painting one line. I figured he's holding his hand over the other one, but it gives a nice detail, right? Next I used some XV88 as the original color of the coat to re-highlight all those raised areas and give it a nice matte finish. Next I used some Palette Witch Flesh and mixed that with the XV88 to create a first highlight. And you can repeat this process as much as you want. In the end, I think I did 2 stages. So first, make it a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 parts XV88, 1 part Palette Witch Flash, and you can kick it up as much as you want, and making those areas that you reach, that you touch, smaller and smaller, you can get some really nice highlight effects. So you can see the final phase here. I touched all the raised areas, the edges, to make it stand out and give this big coat some nice details. Next, I took the Storm Vermin Fur and Abaddon Black mix that I used as an original color for the pants, and I retouched all those areas that are highlighted. So I did not go in the inside of the pants, just the front, and give all those raised areas its original color back, so you can see the null oil we used before, only in the recessed areas. You don't have to go very precise. I mean, you want to have the shade, but the main color is quite important. And after that, I used pure Storm Vermin Fur to get those nice tiny details. I stuck to the top part of the pants and the parts of his legs that were sticking out from under his coat, and I left the rest as it was because I wanted to have the focus on the brighter parts of this model. For the skin, I used some Buckman's Glow and touched all the hands, the fingers, and the face. It's those tiny details that you have to take some time for, because when in this stage of painting, you do not want to touch anything you painted before, so go very careful. Now we're going to be highlighting his face with a mix of Buckman Glow and Kissel of Flesh. You can use Cadian Flesh Tone if you want. I wanted it to be a bit more pale, and yeah, well, I tried something new. And I really like the effect. I did it the same as before, so I mixed it in several stages, and in the end I used only Kissel of Flesh in the final highlight stage. In that final stage of highlighting, just touch the knuckles, the tip of the fingers, tip of the nose, the eyebrows, etc., the chin, and some of the lines around his mouth. He has some very distinctive look, a bit scarred face. You can see some age in there, and you want to emphasize that, right? I used some Carbro Crimson in a thinned down version to shade some of the parts of his face. And I tried to paint in the eye with some Palette Witch Flesh. Also the one with the monocle, or the mechanical eye, what's it called? I touched that with some Palette Witch Flesh as well, for the inner part. Now for the eye thingy, I used some Castellax Bronze as a base color. It's a very tiny area, and the strap of this thing I used some Thonia Brown on as a dark leathery look. This is the main feature of this character, so you want to spend some extra time making it right, because this you want to have look good. Now the pupil in his enlarged eye in here, I used Tactless Blue on, because he has a blue eye in the movie. So I painted the pupil blue. And you want some white showing around it. And afterwards I touched it with some Abaddon Black to paint in the pupil in both eyes. Make sure that you leave some of the previously painted blue visible, because that's what makes this model look great. Use a very fine detail brush. Afterwards, I'm going to be giving the encasing of this eye thingy a look with some Liberator gold or any other gold you might have. I like the Liberator gold because it has some ancient look in it. For the hair, I use tolerant sand. Cover the entire hair with that. It has this nice grayish blonde look. I like it very much. It's like old blonde, right? I mean, he is at an age that his hair looks old and a bit filthy. I glazed it, I shaded it, with some Seraphim Sepia. I think Agric Earth Shade is too dark for this. You can use it, but then make sure to thin it down. And the last stage, I mixed the Tolerant Sand with some Tau Light Ochre to give it a little mid-bore blonde look. Make sure to hold your brush sideways like this so you can pick out any single strain of hair and give it a nice highlighted look. Now, if you want, you can take it further by adding some Palette Witch Flesh, but I wanted to have this yellowy look. He has a bit of a, well, dark blonde hair, right? And here he is, the end result. I really like how this turned out, and I hope you do too. I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you in one of my next ones. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel to keep posted for new videos. Bye bye!